Hey guys, this is DCSG 81. Today I'm going to do a review on a figure which I bought yesterday. But before I begin, I would like to let all of my viewers know, which is you guys, that I would like to make a little changes on my review. So the changes that I would like to make is, instead of pointing out all the good side of the figure, I would like to point out the negative side of it, which means that I'm going to point out what is lacking, what it should do but it can't do, and what should be could have done better. So things like that. So the reason why I'm doing this is I'm not trying to be a critic. I'm also not a figure hater. I actually love all my figures, but I would like to point out the bad side of the figure, so that if you could accept what I have pointed out, then the figure is very much worth of your money. This is how I feel. If you can't if I'm just going as per normal, I say what is good about this figure, what is so good about this figure, then you will get like, so what is bad about it, right? So what I'm trying to do is I will point out all the bad things about it, and of course if the figure is so perfect, then I will have nothing to point out. Then you can be very assured that you can spend on this figure. So this is the figure that I'm going to review for you guys today. It's actually the Dragon Star Frieza first form, and it is also my first buy from this series. uh, some of you might know that my collection line is actually more to the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball. So I don't have any of the Dragon Star, mainly because that first of all, is not widely available in my country, and secondly that whatever character that they have released, I have already have it in the SHF form. Okay, so this form, it has not been released by the SHF. That's why it sort of interests me. So without further ado, let's take a look at the box. So this is the side view of the box. Very nice art of the Frieza, and apparently this is the series 9. You can see the series 9 has Piccolo, the Frieza first form, and the Super Saiyan 4 Goku from GT. And then the series 10 we will have Android 17, SS3 Goku, as well as the Perfect Cell form. Okay, so let's crack it open. So this is the figure right out of the box. Let's take a closer look. So from the first time that I held on this figure, it actually it doesn't feel cheap at all. I mean, it has some weight. I actually expected worse. So in this case, it's kind of like surprised me, because you can feel there's some weight to the figure. So it doesn't really feel cheap, except for this portion here. You can really feel that it's like a blank plastic inside, like they just snap the figure together. It's like, you know, I'm not sure. Maybe because there is no joint in it for the articulation, so it feels a little cheap here. So let's take a look at the face. So the face is pretty well made, and I love it when they put it with a smirk. So this is the look of the Frieza, and the detail is actually pretty good. You can see all the lining on his flesh, which is pretty good. Okay, so the thing that I would like to point out is because there's no shading on this figure, so that, I mean, I can't complain much, because even the SHF nowadays is lack of shadings. So the paint job is slightly dull, I would say. I mean, maybe it doesn't show on the camera, but it's actually looking, especially the purple, you take a look, it's like faded paint. Okay, so otherwise it looks pretty good, and there is some unfinished paint you can see here. Okay, it's not as good as the SHF painting, but I think it's acceptable. Okay, now let's take a look at the articulations. So for the articulation, the head can turn pretty much well. They actually give a separate neck for it. I'm surprised. Let's see if, so you can see that it's actually a ball joint. Okay, the neck doesn't move much. Actually, it doesn't move at all. See, it's very stiff. You can't even turn the neck. So this is a bummer, but you can still turn the head like this, but not the neck. So you can look up this much, which is actually the same as looking straight. Yeah, you can't look up much. Look down, yes, pretty good, but no looking up. There's no articulation for the armor flap, so you can't actually go. It's actually hindered by it. The most you can do is like this. Okay, so for the arms, you can go this much, and it's already blocked. So there's an arm swivel. I think this is not a double jointed elbow, but it can turn pretty well. And then this is pretty standard, and like I mentioned earlier, there's no abs articulations, but you can still turn. And the leg, this is pretty good. I mean, it's something like a SHF standard. The knee can go, there's a double, I think this is a double ball joint. Okay, pretty much. And then there's a leg here. I mean, there's a ball joint for the legs. So pretty much standard like the SHF. As for the tail, you actually have a ball joint, which is quite good, and they also give another swivel here. Okay, nothing fancy, but at least you can do some pose for it. Okay, so for the accessory, as you can see, there isn't much. There's just interchangeable hands. So it comes with the fist hands that's on the figure, and then a pair of hands, gripping hands. Okay, and lastly, there's a pointing hands, which is his signature move when he's trying to generate a big powerball and destroy the Saiyan planet. So it's pretty cool, and that's all. So the accessory, I would say, is pretty disappointing. They should have at least give maybe like a powerball that comes with it. Okay, so that's the bad part of it. Okay, for the first size comparison is of course to compare with the Frieza from different form. So this is the SH Figuarts Frieza 2.0, and this is the SH Figuarts Golden Frieza. So as you can see, he actually towered taller than them, but it's actually inaccurate, because if I'm not mistaken, he's actually, the first form is the smallest among all. So I also found a size comparison picture that you can see right now. Okay, so he should be smaller than them. Okay, let's take a look at another comparison. So for the second comparison, we can see that we have the SH Figuart Sculptor Vegeta, as well as the Goku 2.0 from SH Figuart as well. So if you don't see the height, just look at the size. He actually bigger than them. So this, again, the scale is pretty much out if you would like to pair with the SH Figuarts, but I think it's still acceptable in a way. So next we have the Perfect Cell 2.0 from SH Figuarts, and the Figurized Kid Buu from Bandai as well. It's a modeling kit. So just to get you guys a brief idea on how it compares to other brands, we have the Mayfax Spider-Man comic version, as well as the Marvel Legend Ghost Rider. Okay. So lastly, for my final verdict, based on all the bad things that I point out, such as the paint, which is not aligned properly. There's no abs joint here, no articulation on the flap, which hinder the articulations, and there's no accessories given except for a few hands. And yeah, I forgot to point out they didn't even give some interchangeable face, but I think that's too much to ask for from from this series. And lastly is the scale is actually pretty much out if you like to pair it with the SH figures. But having said all that, this is still a pretty good figure for Frieza first form. If you are actually looking for one, I think this is pretty much it. Okay, so let's hope for SH figures to finally make one. But at the meantime, I think this is good enough to be displayed together with your SH figures collection. So my final verdict for this Frieza will be 7.5. So it's still a very good figure, even though it has all the negative things that I pointed out. So hit the like button if you like this video, and leave a comment below if you have any questions about this figure, which I am gladly answer you if I know the answer. And be sure to subscribe to my channel as I have new video every day. And don't forget to check out my other videos which you might be interested in. Okay, so thank you, have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.